ways to collaborate as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
Hey, champions. Thank you for joining us again on the Champion Within. I am really excited to share this guest with you today. You know that I am very particular who I allow to come on the podcast. I get some people sending me messages or filling out the form. And as soon as I saw this, I knew that this guest, Jonathan Simos, would be aligned for all of you. I'm going to be honest. I am really excited to learn some things myself as well. So who is Jonathan? He's an entrepreneur, a master trainer, Guinness World Record holder who's redefining what's possible. As the founder of New Exist, a fitness education program built to help you unlock your full potential, he really brings both the grit and the soul to everything that he does. Jonathan, thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Thank you, Kate. I'm doing well. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show.
Tell my listeners, what is it that you do in this world that you find to be really your purpose? How would you describe it?
Definitely. I would say my purpose is to inspire others to realize that they're much more capable than they think that they are, then to break down any self-imposed limitations, because we often set limitations on ourselves. So we are our own biggest enemy in a sense, and we just need to get out of our own way and let things flow, to inspire them to believe in themselves. And then secondly, to break down those limitations and try to help them gain that sense of purpose.
Love it. I love it. I always look into my guests. I do some stalking. So there were some things that I was looking at. One of the things I really liked about what you're putting out into the world, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, is that you keep it real with everyone, that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's been times where things were tough and you learned lessons. I think that's such a valuable piece for people, because when we're in those moments, or really time periods for some people, we have a choice to make. We can decide to quit with this. I'm not good enough. I can't do these things. But you're saying, but this is what I learned. Tell me about a time when I saw you speak in, I think this was just one time that you did this, but you went to Illinois and you thought things were going to turn out a certain way, but they ended up maybe a different direction, but you did learn from it.
Absolutely. It is an interesting story. So my girlfriend and I had a small business called Greek Triangles, where we made spanakopita and we sold it at farmers markets. And we scaled it to operating at up to 4 markets on a Saturday at one point, and then 2 or 3 on a Sunday. And it was great, but it was seasonal. So the city that we live in, Sarasota, is so seasonal. The summer is our slow season. The winter is our busy season. So every summer we would break even. And it was a challenge to try to offset that. So first summer I tried something different. Second summer I tried going business to business with an investor. And then the third summer I had a part-time job. I thought I was comfortable. But then last minute, about a month before out of season really started to happen, they told me they no longer needed me. I then had a choice to make. Either, try to get another part-time job and scrape by, trying to keep the business afloat, or I could be a seasonal vendor, because there were 2 vendors who were seasonal. Every year they'd go up north to Illinois, to the Chicago area for their summer season, because it was the opposite of ours, their peak season. So to make a long story short, it was a Hail Mary. I talked to my girlfriend and figured it was the best bet to just apply to the markets. And I said, if I get approved, I'll go up there and give it a shot. I got approved last minute. So got in all these good markets, storage unit, commercial kitchen, lined everything up, even joined an Anytime Fitness and set everything up properly, packed up my car, headed up there. And the plan was to operate out of the commercial kitchen, make enough money, rent a room, all of that. And the first 2 weeks were great. I was making really good money for like 2 weeks. Then things began to drop off. Prior to the trip, the two seasonal vendors had told me I would do so well up there. It's always much better than Florida.
Right.
And they were right normally, but this year was an exception with the economy, election year. Things dropped off, could never afford a room. So I ended up just living out of my little 2006 Toyota Prius and
Okay.
living at a gym. And so I had all these systems down to be organized, run the business while being homeless. So I
And you
had my
said you were
start.
showering at the gym?
Yes, so I had Anytime Fitness as my gym membership. So
Okay.
it was really convenient. I can go to Anytime Fitness at any time. Brush my teeth in the morning there, get ready, take a shower,
Right.
maybe get a workout in if I had time. I would sleep in my car, but I had 4 locations I would switch it up at. So I didn't seem, sketchy or suspicious.
Right.
Yeah, so one night would be in the Woodman's parking lot, which was a market that was 24 hours. So there were
Okay.
always people coming in and out. Another one was the Anytime Fitness. Another one was the across the street, the Panera Bread parking lot. So I had a strategy down, but it was challenging to run a business at 7 markets while being homeless, for sure.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine, actually. It sounds like totally crazy to me. What lessons did you learn from that?
One is, not to give up. I'll elaborate on that because there is a point where you have to decide when to let go. But
Sure.
I mean, never to give up if you know it's right or if you see the vision and take it day by day. The other would be to enjoy the little things. I learned to, not be hard on myself. I knew it was temporary. I knew it wasn't going to be homeless for the rest of my life.
Right.
I knew that one day it would be a funny story, possibly inspirational. I enjoyed it. The freedom, um, the little things, the beautiful weather, the parks.
Hmm.
I learned so much. I learned to not be hard on myself, to not put my worth in, how much money I had or where I was at, or in comparing myself to other people's paths because everyone has their own path, and to find value in the fact that I was putting myself through all of that to try to keep the
Right.
business afloat. So many lessons for sure.
Absolutely. So many different things. I would love to pull apart some of those things. One piece that you said that you learn not to let go, but that there is a time and a place where you have to say, it's time for me to change direction or pivot in some way. What would you say to someone who's listening right now related to that?
I would say to follow your heart. Ultimately, I feel like we all have our own path, and somehow with God or the universe, like our heart guides us. I really do feel like that. In
Hmm.
fact, there's a good book. My favorite book is called Into the Magic Shop
Oh,
by.
yeah, I'm reading it right
Oh,
now.
no
Yeah,
way.
I read his other book too. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I love him.
Uh,
Mind Magic. I read Mind Magic. It's his newer book.
Wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know you had another book.
Yeah. I'll have to send you the link. And those who are listening right now, I'm going to let you keep going, but
No
that's so
worries.
crazy because I don't know anyone who has read that book.
I
So,
was saying the same thing. Yeah.
yeah. And that woman, go ahead, tell the story. I don't want to give the book away too much, but go ahead, keep going. And you can tell people a little bit about the book and how you think that you have to decide when to keep going and when to let go.
Definitely. No, the book, my favorite book. It's so funny that you know it.
Yeah.
He basically a neurosurgeon, and he discovers
Mhm.
the heart sends more signals to the brain, more feedback to the brain than the brain does to the heart. And it's so true. If you listen to your heart, it really does guide you. So the whole business venture of Greek Triangles, it never really felt right. I just did it in quarantine. I started it when I was laid off from the fitness industry. So we
Okay.
started it. It snowballed into what it was. It wasn't ever really a smooth progression. I was just kind of forcing it along with my girlfriend the entire time. And I'm glad I had those experiences. I
So do
learned,
you not do that business anymore?
oh no, so I ended up letting it go.
Okay.
The
Gotcha.
follow-up, yes.
Well, that is a perfect example of knowing that you have to listen to yourself when
Yes,
it's not aligned.
for
And
sure.
from that book, we're not going to give too much away from that book. It's so interesting that you're reading that book. What do you think you learned from that book, even that helps you with that whole idea of you have to be able to see your vision, even if other people can't, and tapping into your mind to be able to really rewire your brain?
Oh, yes. I think it reinforced the idea of not trying to rely on other people seeing your vision and believing in your vision. Because when I was younger, I used to be so excited about all these plans and visions as a very creative person, and
Hmm.
I would share them with other people or my family, and I would expect them to see it as much as I did and get as excited, but no
Right.
one really could. And then it took me years to realize it's, your vision for a reason, and you can't expect others to believe or really even understand your vision.
So true.
So the book taught me how to just not worry about that and just really have that confidence in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a great book. I'm going to drop the link for you. It's his name's Dr. Jody, right? I don't want to get his name wrong. Is that his name?
I always forget his name,
I'm
Doc.
drawing a blank, but I will tell people in there. And I'm so obsessed with his work. I actually have a playlist that I use at the end of my workout when I'm doing meditation and different things. And I called it Mind Magic related to his new book and
Ah,
it's, I found the playlist on Apple. I can't take credit for creating it, but it is literally because I read that book and his work is very inspiring. And I get to help people rewire our brains because they really are plastic and we can change those neural pathways. Really cool that you're reading that book. I love that. So, when we're talking about what you do now, tell my listeners because I think you have a lot to share. I know people are like, great, Kate, you guys are reading a book. We all love it, but we want to hear about what Jonathan is doing in the fitness world and this fitness education. I love that piece because so many people will put some things out there saying, this is the best exercise or do this, not that. But the education piece, I am a former teacher of 20 years, so I love this education piece. That is where I personally think there's a lot of value because you need to know why and what you're doing and how to do it properly. Tell us a little bit about what the company is and what you do for people, and then we'll maybe give some tips.
absolutely. I am just putting the brand together now and just starting to launch, but the whole concept is to allow you to take control of your own health and wellness with an easy transition because the fitness industry, there's so much information. It's so overwhelming. It's so conflicting. There's so many gaps. I
Right.
worked in so many group fitness gyms and we'd get someone who was sedentary, no exercise experience, jumping right into a group class and they'd
Right.
hurt themselves. They'd get a bad experience. People have to learn movement patterns first, the fundamentals, and then they can build that foundation. I am sort of trying to brand a campaign where everyone has to learn how to build a wellness foundation. Uh,
Hmm.
so not fitness foundation because it's holistic in nature. That's another thing.
Right.
Fitness is holistic. So
So
wellness,
glad you said that. It's the whole person. This goes for everything people do. My athletes, once you learn that, business owners, once you learn that, everyone listening, once you learn that it is a holistic journey, this is how you are going to see epic growth. And we think, Jonathan, I would love to hear your point of view on this. We think that we start out as I'm going to Jonathan to work on my fitness. And then you get this extra bonus of, hey, guess what? It's actually a holistic experience. And although we're focusing on your fitness right now, you cannot turn your brain off and it will have a ripple effect into your personal life, your relationships, the business, how you step out into everyday life. Do you find that people come back to you and say, well, I know I started for this fitness journey, but look what's happening here with my kids or at work?
yes, no, it's so inspiring to see exactly what you said. People will start with, a walk and then they start lifting and then they start going to a gym. And then it's very fascinating to see the progression from the smallest little thing, how fitness is such a keystone habit. And then next thing you know, they're eating healthier, they're meeting friends at the gym, they're being more social. Then they start doing obstacle course races or, bodybuilding. And so their life completely transforms over the course of like a year or two.
Right.
And then their mental health, of course, they have more of a sense of purpose, more clarity. It changes everything. It's crazy.
Yes. It really does. What would you tell someone if they're thinking right now, I would love to change some things and we can't do all of the things? I do want to tell my listeners that you can't do all of the things today. Please don't try to overload your brain. But what's a tip, Jonathan, that you would give listeners who are maybe just starting the journey and then take it to the other end, somebody who's in it, but they want to level up?
I would say to just start with what you can. A lot of people are all or nothing, and they'll start and then they'll have a bad week or they're sick or something happens with life, and then they just fall off and stop working out, stop eating healthy, back to normal. Starting with what they can, if it's a walk once a week, if it's one workout session once, twice a week for 30 minutes, whatever they can, because anything helps. And then on busy weeks, if they scale it back to whatever they can do. So, if you have a really crazy week and you can only get in one quick 20-minute workout, to do it, because that stimulation can even help maintain your progress over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks, where when you do have that time again, you didn't fall off. You're
Right.
either the same or better from just those short workouts. So
That's great advice for someone. I think the people who are just getting started, we're all ready to go. Those people, when I get to work with them with mindset too, a lot of times it's a fitness journey. They're so motivated and I got this, I'm ready, change my life. Then life's gonna life. Life's always gonna life. What Jonathan is saying is exactly what you need to do. Even if you can't do what you expect yourself, let go of all of the shoulds. Stop shoulding all over yourself for this and just do something. Something is better than nothing. I heard you say something about it might take you to the next place. When you start doing something, it doesn't matter if it's fitness, reading, meditation, whatever. When you say, I'm just going to take a 20-minute walk, sometimes it ends up being a 25 or a 30-minute walk. And I'm not saying it has to, but that can happen. And then your brain says, not out loud, but basically it's sending you messages. Oh, wait, we like this. This feels good. I'm going to look for more opportunities to squeeze in a walk and do these things. Just like we were talking about that book, Into the Magic Shop and Mind Magic. It's all about rewiring your brain. And what you do is who you become. What you focus on is your reality. How would you take it in the other direction? Let's say I'm an athlete and I want to take it up a notch. Maybe I'm a mom or a coach or a business owner. I'm working out, but I feel like I want to be that better athlete. I want to perform at a higher level. I want to be the best version of myself. What do you tell that person?
I would say they can either look for the right coach to guide them, or if they just don't have a lot of time and just want to try to do it on their own, it can be simplified. So push-pull movements, supersets, all rep ranges, incorporating some cardio, so like a steady state day, which is great, therapeutic wise as well. They just clear your mind.
Tell them what that is exactly.
Absolutely. So you definitely want cardio when you work out. You want to cross train for all the benefits. You don't want to just run. You don't want to just lift. You want all of it. So there's efficient ways of doing things. You don't have to have a bodybuilding split that has all this volume and takes a long time. You can be very functional in a short amount of time. So steady state is building your endurance. So basically lower heart rate, conversation pace. So it's like a long jog for like 20, 30, 40 minutes or bike ride. Something where you're not doing strenuous activity and it's more using fat as fuel and just building up your work capacity, your overall cardiovascular system. So it's your foundation. Gotcha. And then also an interval day for that active recovery and the hormonal benefit. So even twice a week, you could get by an interval day and a steady state day. If you could squeeze in one more run, more of like a speed work focus or metabolic conditioning, where it's high intensity.
Like a HIIT workout for people if they're going to throw in a sprint here and there, or if they follow those HIIT type workouts.
Definitely. So if they do that, the 3 cardio days and a lightweight day and then a heavyweight day, that's pretty much enough to kind of take things to the next level.
I love that you consistently say this on Instagram and I think on YouTube. You just said it now. Keep it simple. Simplify it. Sometimes people, myself included, with all kinds of different things in life, think we have to make it this big thing. And yes, you have to schedule it in and plan it a little bit, but it doesn't have to be something totally crazy. You can simplify it and see changes. Do you have a story or anything that you want to share of maybe someone who's worked with you that has been able to do that and change the way they either show up for fitness or gains that they're making?
Yes. Got a couple stories, even my own story to make it easy.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford a personal trainer when I started at like 15, 16. So I started learning the hard way through trial and error and asking people. And I had progress, but as I had progress, I had imbalances because I didn't know what I was doing. So there's a right way and a wrong way, but it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just being balanced, changing the rep ranges, doing things properly with the fundamentals. And so, I had iliotibial band syndrome, which was
Mm.
very uncomfortable. I couldn't even run without
Oh,
my,
wow. Yeah.
yes, shin splints, my shoulder would crack and pop. And then I got the credentials to fix myself because years later, I wasn't in a position to get a physical therapist. And I was tired of dealing with the aches and pains. It's amazing. I feel better now at 36 than I did when I was 18 or 20.
Right.
So that's
Because
another
you're
thing.
doing it the right way.
Yes. And age
Right.
is really not anywhere near as big of a factor as people say.
I'm
That's
so
another.
glad you said that because I'm older than you, I believe. I'm 46. And, the moms who listen, the coaches, a lot of them are on the sidelines with their athletes. Maybe they're coaching if it's the youth level for their kids. They are often told, women particularly, well, you're just getting older and this is how things are going to go. And I'm calling bullshit on that because there is a way to change. I'm not saying it's easy, but there is a way to change things. So I'm so glad that you said that age, it might be different, but it doesn't have to be the reason why you say, I can't do this. This is not something that people my age do anymore because I'm not 18 or 22. What do you tell those people? Is it more, I think that it's a limiting belief, but like you said, we hear stuff on Instagram, different places that, oh, this is just how life's going to be. What do you want to tell those people?
I would say not to use it as an excuse because
Mm.
I have many examples. Quick one is there were two guys in their mid 50s, and I was like 30 at the time, who would
Mhm.
always beat me in obstacle course races.
Okay.
I could not keep up. They'd always be 50 meters, 100 meters ahead. Um, they beat me many times. And
Right.
the strongman competition, same thing. And then also seeing it firsthand in group fitness, there were people that were older, late 40s or 50s, or even 60s.
Mhm.
And they would beat the younger people on the treadmill
Right.
or in different workouts. And I'd see transformations where they'd come in overweight and then they'd, stick to the program. And they completely would transform. They'd get lean, they'd gain muscle, they'd be fast, strong. So really any age you can improve.
I love that. Hey, listeners, are you ready to unleash your inner champion? Let's talk about something close to my heart. My merch t-shirts, my Champion Within assemblies, and the Village Mentality. When you grab one of these t-shirts, you're not just rocking some cool gear, you're making a real difference. Every single purchase helps fund powerful school and community programs that lift kids up, builds confidence, sparks connection, and we're straight up creating champions. My goal, when I roll in to give a keynote, I want to go into a local school in that area and bring the Champion Within School Assembly to life. So when you wear one of these shirts, you're part of something way bigger than a transaction. You're helping change lives. Thank you for being in this with me. From the bottom of my heart, much love and gratitude. After the show, head down to the show notes, click on that link, and go grab your t-shirt. Now let's get back to the podcast chat. I think it's important to tell people when you were young, and even myself, I have a degree in kinesiology. You ask people, but sometimes you don't get the right advice. When possible, you need to be connecting with someone who can give you that expert advice and has the credentials. Just because you throw up an Instagram video and you put something on TikTok and YouTube, if somebody doesn't have the credentials, they could be teaching you the wrong thing. You could be injured. You're not going to see the changes. Then you're going to get frustrated and go back to what we were just talking about. I quit. Life happened. This crazy thing happened. I'm not doing whatever your fitness journey plan was. Tell people what exactly makes you different. What are your credentials compared to just some fitness influencer?
Thank you. A lot of fitness influencers, of course, everyone has their own credentials and path, but
Sure.
they might have the CPT, so they might be a personal trainer, or they might not have any credentials. They might just, have been working out for a while. And I do see some crazy workouts that aren't, it's just for show. To add on to that, a lot of the influencers are on like PEDs or steroids, and so a lot of times the results might not be as achievable. It's not the best example, and I feel like they should be transparent with that because it's led to an epidemic. Unless they're a competitive bodybuilder, of course, that's different. To answer your question, during quarantine, I started trying to get every certification that I could. Performance enhancement, CAFS from the Gray Institute, which was a functional one. I get all these little specializations, powerlifting, MMA, because I wanted to learn the differences on how to kind of specialize.
Right.
And then on top of that, the experiential side. Working in group fitness, I've worked at Orange Theory, F45, functional training facility that had Ninja Warrior classes, obstacle course racing classes, boot camp style classes, metabolic. So pretty much almost every group fitness facility.
All the things. You did all the things. I kind of thought that about you when I was doing my stalking. It's funny, during the pandemic, I did the same with my mindset work, and I resigned in 2021 from teaching. Long list of credentials. No one ever asks me, by the way, when I'm doing things. They just assume you have it, which I think is scary. People who are listening right now, whatever you're doing, if it's fitness, mindset, whatever it is that you're working with, maybe ask someone, what's your experience? What's your credentials? Because I've had people come to me and say, oh, well, I worked with this person, but then I later found out, well, did you ask? You need to ask. And Jonathan did the hard work. You deserve to say that. Let's talk a little bit more about some other hard work, some things that you've done. I did see that Ninja Warrior. I wasn't sure if that was a class or you participated in that, the actual Ninja Warrior courses, but you also have that Guinness Book of World Records. That's pretty cool. I was looking at some videos there. I loved when you received the envelope, and on the outside of the envelope, you had waited for that certificate to come. And I believe that, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it said officially amazing or something along those lines. Tell people about the record and
all right,
how it went down.
Well, I appreciate that. I've been working out my whole life as a lifetime drug-free athlete, and I love pushing the limits. And so I would refuse to accept plateaus. So I would hit, like, for example, on bench, I was so excited to hit 135, which was a 45 on each side in high school, and then 185, and then 205, and then 225, and then 275, then 315, and then 365. So like it kept going up because the body adapts, and it's amazing how the body continues to adapt. So I had this foundation of relative strength, so strength to body weight, basically, for those who aren't familiar with that term. And so I saw that anything that involved relative strength, like hanging or climbing, I'd have an advantage at. So I started aiming for records, and I found dead hang records. And they didn't have a 300-pound dead hang. So I applied to Guinness, and it was interesting because at first they said no, and then they said yes, but it had to be worded differently. So instead of 300-pound longest dead hang, they wanted it to be worded as heaviest weight lifted while hanging, suspended in the dead hang position.
The words matter. It's like the SEO keywords or something for Guinness Book of World Records there.
Yeah, and so this is what it looks like, the certificate.
Oh, very cool. I'm glad you have that there. Really cool. And those who are listening to the audio, go look at YouTube. I'm going to put a clip of this up there, so you want to go check all that out. So go ahead, keep telling us what happened there. So you changed the wording and finally convinced them?
Yeah, so then they approved it. Then they send you the evidence checklist. You have to follow the specifications. You can do either a paid route, which is much faster once you complete the record, or the free route can take up to 3 months. So I did the free route, set it up at a gym, got the local news involved, did the dead hang with 300 pounds for 1 minute, 4 seconds. Then eventually I got approved. And then I have other ones in queue that I'm working on.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yes, but
so to beat that record or something totally different?
Related. So one is a monkey bar.
You don't have to share if it's secretive, but just
it's our furthest monkey bar distance in a minute with 100 people. So that's another new application. And I tried it, but I have to redo it because I set the minimum as too far. And so I got 50 feet. I need to get like 65. So I'm going to reattempt it pretty soon.
Very cool. You know, there's so many lessons to learn from all of that, really. You said at one point that you had to change the words, and you did that. You have to sometimes go back and say, how can I adjust this? What feedback have I received? And that's not just for a world record. Somebody's sitting here thinking, I'm not trying to set a world record, Kate. I know maybe you're not. Or although I think it would be pretty cool if some of you do, but Maybe it is the way you are approaching a business idea or changing how you're showing up on defense or whatever it is in your life, fitness journey. If something isn't working or someone's giving you feedback, one, you have to take it. You have to take the feedback, even if you're not loving it. Like, why do I got to change the words? It seems silly. Just come on, let's do this. This is how we have to do it. I think that's a great lesson there, that you have to be willing to take feedback and adjust it.
Oh, yes. That
And are
growth
you finding
mindset.
that again with these new records that they're saying, well, we need you to do it this way? Or have you kind of cracked the code of the Guinness?
Yeah, I agree completely. No is not always no. You can always figure things out. This was another new application that I had to apply for, and they accepted it.
Okay.
So I just have to redo it. But there's other ones I want to do. So either if they exist, you just apply. But if they
Right.
don't exist, you apply for a new record. You have to go back and forth and be very patient, because it can take months for them to hear back from them.
Two things there. No and no. Someone said this on my podcast, I think, or I heard it somewhere, that it's the next opportunity. You have to look at it that way.
I like that.
Yeah, I stole it from someone else. I can't take credit. Also, you really are doing the same thing when you said you didn't hit the monkey bar record. You have to go a little bit further. It's the same thing. You had to change the words to get them to come out and do this Guinness Book of World Records test, I guess we'll call it, or whatever they call it when they're coming out. You keep going. You keep going. You have to keep going. I stole something from you. You said, I practiced and trained my whole life. Someone asked you, I believe it was a news organization that came out, or maybe it was a podcast, saying, oh, well, how did you do the training to hold that 300 pounds? And you said, I practiced and trained my whole life. So true for everything that we do, even if we don't exactly know what we are training for. So tell us, what have you been doing your whole life? I know you've been in these gyms, you're doing things, but how do you really, come about that statement? Because I love that statement. What does that mean on a deeper level?
On a deeper level, there's physical and the mental side, but the physical side would be pushing myself to the limit, trying to go as heavy as possible, lower rep ranges with different lifts. So I like to maximize movements.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do heavy barbell shrugs, heavy croc rows, which is like a single arm dumbbell row with more momentum, like full body. And by doing that without straps, just chalk, your grip would get stronger. So I only really trained for that record like a month. And
Okay.
so because I had that foundation from
Right,
pushing myself.
exactly,
Yes.
which I don't think people in general give themselves enough credit for.
Definitely.
All of the work that you've done has gotten you to where you are right now in life, no matter what it is, athletically, in the gym, your business, just relationships. You've done things before. You were exactly where you're meant to be. It's a simple but powerful statement that you made. I was actually hoping that news reporter was going to dive in deeper. I don't think that they did, or maybe I didn't see the whole clip. I thought that was really cool. Something else that you said, unrelated to that news story, was that you need to sometimes let go of old identities. So even though we've had these great foundational steps along the way, myself included, we have some old identities that we try to hold on to, even wear as a badge of honor. Have you had to let go of some old identities, and what did you do to do that?
Yes, for sure. In order to step into a new chapter and become someone new, you have to, let go of the old, stop fighting the old. I would say many times, athletically and, professionally, letting myself fully evolve into the person that I'm becoming, not trying to hold on to like, oh, I'm a personal trainer, or oh, I'm a powerlifter if someone's a power or bodybuilder, because then you say no to opportunities, or
Right.
which might not be a bad thing if it's in alignment, but you also want to, because you want to learn to focus, but you don't want to miss out on where life is taking you either. So yeah, there's so many different avenues we can go down with that, but I would say absolutely.
There's
Everybody.
something that you do intentionally to almost release that old identity. Let me just put in there that I think it's important for us to acknowledge that old identity and value it, because it has gotten us to where we are today. I'm not saying erase it or push it down and ignore it. Give it a little hug and say, thanks girl, thanks guy, whatever. Thanks for getting me here, but I'm going somewhere else now, and you can come with me. You're still a part of me, kind of thing.
I love
I
that.
need to become someone else in order to do this next thing that I want. It doesn't always play out exactly the way we think, which is okay. I say, if not this, something better. Do you do something? I have some things that I do for myself, but do you do something to make sure you don't sit in that old identity?
Kind of along the lines of what you were saying. I love the way you put it. I was having a hard time putting that into words, but
Hmm.
just reflecting and
Okay.
really
Yeah.
thinking about the lessons that I learned, all the memories, the chapter, and then kind of shifting focus to the new who I have to become to maximize this new chapter where life's taking me.
Right.
So, for example, with this fitness venture, now it's time to try to be the best, coach, trainer. I'm trying to learn that world now online and
Right.
fully step into that.
Do you do things like say affirmations? Do you just reflect in a journal? Do you just kind of, how do you do it? Or do you just let it happen organically?
Affirmations are great. I don't typically do them, but there's nothing wrong with, they're great. They
Mhm.
definitely work. I say I just focus on immersing myself into that new chapter because a lot
Mhm.
of people try to hold on with habits or they're not willing to do what it takes. Uh,
Right.
for example, with the Greek triangles chapter, there were times where I had to, be completely open to, growth and advice, and times where we had to even work 2 days straight.
Yep.
Cooking, wrapping, cleaning would go right into the morning, 2, 3 a.m. up the markets. We got to start prepping for the market. So
Sure.
if I wasn't willing to give up, my latte in the morning or, a workout, if you're not willing to give up things and immerse yourself into that new chapter, it's going to slow your progress. So I say jumping right in and doing what it takes.
I love that. So many people say, I can't do it yet. I have to do this first. Just start, jump in and start. And when you surround yourself in that environment, one, you'll see more opportunity. People genuinely do want to help you. My athletes struggle a lot with this because when they stop competing, so maybe it's that high school athlete who doesn't play in college. Maybe it's the college athlete who thinks, maybe I'm going to go pro, maybe not. Maybe it's just college and they're done. Whatever. A professional athlete, I'm actually thinking of a client right now. When you're done being an athlete, who are you? And that identity, and that you have to be able to have different spokes of your life and be able to say, this is the different version of me or the old version. And again, not saying there's anything bad with that version, but you have to get uncomfortable. You've said that a couple times. You have to get uncomfortable, do things that maybe other people aren't willing to do. I'm nodding my head when you were saying I worked 2 days straight, that you and your girlfriend were doing that. Some people just don't get that. And you don't have to necessarily start a business, but if you want to do fitness, if you want to start a business, you have to be willing to change and do
Yes.
uncomfortable things. It's not fun in the beginning. The part that you get to is like, look at me now, or that you see a picture, that transformation picture. They didn't ride a unicorn there and, float down the rainbows, right? Anything like that happen for you that someone could steal from your journey and learn from you?
I would say looking at the big picture, taking a step back and not staying in the moment and thinking negatively like, oh,
Hmm.
this sucks or look what I have to do, but seeing the positive. So taking a step back and seeing like, wow, I'm doing this or I started this business or this is going to be, inspirational story one day. This is
Right.
temporary. I can sleep in a couple days, like just seeing the big picture and seeing the good and not just focusing on the bad. Of course, there were times I get frustrated, but,
It'd be
just
weird if you didn't. If you were like, I loved doing that, I'd be like, we're done the podcast.
yeah, and my girlfriend was amazing. I couldn't have done it without her, and she was there helping me at odd hours and going through it all.
Right.
But in running markets, whenever I needed help, whatever I needed, she was there. I'd say, yeah, just taking a step back, looking at the big picture. And also with the identity thing, like you were speaking about,
Hmm.
that was very well said. With that same thing, they can step back and say, I was an athlete, and I still am, but taking the qualities from that. So I'm not, a football player anymore, but football taught me this. I'm a disciplined
Right.
person, I'm an athletic person, strong-minded. Taking the qualities from that instead of saying like, I'm not a football player anymore. What do I do?
Who am I? Right. I love
Yes.
both of those things. You also added something in to answer my question there. I love the reflection, just almost getting out of the situation, looking from the outside in as like a detective type thing and saying, I know this is crazy right now. We're working 2 days straight, but this is what's going to come, the positive, the ripple effect of this, or I can see a silver lining. I love that reflection piece.
Thank
And
you.
people who are listening, you have to actually force yourself to do that sometime. I've been
Oh,
in not making the food. You do not want me to cook anything for you. I married well. He's a great cook. When I'm doing things for my business, starting this podcast, different things, there's been some really early hours and some really late nights, and I'm in makeup, on a stage speaking, doing all the things, and I show up and I kill it, and everyone's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, but, in those moments, I have to remind myself of the people I get to love, the things and different places that I am because of this hard work. You have to make yourself reflect, because it's real easy to get stuck in that.
Oh,
This
yes.
sucks. You said something in there that I really want to highlight. You mentioned your girlfriend, how she's there to support you. Everyone listening right now, you need to acknowledge those people that are there for you during those times, because those are what I call your dream builders or your crown keepers to push you when you want to say, this sucks, I want to quit. Because you do that sometimes, and your brain will say, oh, I remember when you used to quit, and you'll go back into that protective mode. You need those people who can push you lovingly. I'm not talking
Yes.
about someone crazy in your life, but people who are there for the good. I'm excited for you. I think that the people who are going to get to do this program, is it in person? Is it online? Is it combination? Tell me, how do people get involved with this?
It's going to just be online for now, where I'm still putting the brand together, but it's
Mhm.
supposed to be a community, which is free,
Okay.
and they can join it at newexist.com. It goes to a school
Okay.
community, NEUXIST. That's going to be where I have a monthly webinar, Q&A, discussion groups, eventually workouts. It's a platform for the courses, so then eventually courses, and then experiences. Putting it together now, the point is to help them, take control of their fitness, learn how to
Mhm.
work out properly in a simplified manner, and make an easier transition to a healthier lifestyle. So to build that foundation, the whole point is to build a foundation that fits their
Yeah.
lifestyle.
I love this. It's in the process of being built right now.
Yes, but they can
Okay.
join the community for now. And I'm
Okay, so we'll drop that link. I'll make sure that I get that from you, so people can just, let's make it simple, as you've been saying the whole time. Go right down to the show notes, click on that link, and join that community. I'm going in there. I can't wait to see what's happening in this space. It sounds really amazing, and just the whole vibe of the holistic, everything I preach when I talk with a coach, when I talk with a business, it takes a whole village, and it really takes all of those pieces. This is genius that you're doing that. And the fact that it's online, people from all around the world can benefit from this. There's so many people that are going to get to experience this really cool program. I'm excited for that. So we'll drop the link, and as things progress, let me know. I'll be happy to hype it for you, because I love this.
I appreciate that. And I'm sure in the near future we can find more ways to collaborate as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'll add you to my love list when I go places. I'll say, I got a guy. That's a
That-
Philly thing here. We got a guy. All right. So I could keep you forever. There's so many things we could talk about, but I'm not going to do that to you. I do want to jump to my last question,
Right.
which I think could be so many different things for you, but I'm curious to see what you say here. If your life were a movie called The Champion Within, and the screen fades to black, they're left on a cliffhanger, what is the audience screaming for you, Jonathan, to do next? They're on Instagram and everywhere saying hashtag this. What are they saying?
I love that question. It's very creative. I would say basically what I tell everyone else, because I also need to do it, where to just go for it, to just get, what I want to create, get it out, and not drag my feet. So to get this venture going and stop
They're
doubting.
all screaming, go for it, do it.
Yes, yeah, just to go for it, just to continue, because I do drag my feet a little bit and overanalyze, and
It happens to all of us.
yes, and done is better than perfect. So I would say to just officially launch, and just get it out and provide value.
I love it. I feel like they're going to be chanting the company name or the program name. I think I see that for you. I'm
Right.
excited for you. I'm looking forward to your continued success. I definitely am going to be joining. So thank you for sharing all of this. As I said, there's so much. I'm sure we'll chat again on the podcast. But is there anything else that you want to share with my listeners before we say goodbye?
Not that I can think of, but I wanted to say thank you for having me
You're
on. I
welcome.
appreciate this. And I'm excited to hear the episode and also continue to check out more of your episodes as well.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that you were here. We really do appreciate it. You have so much to offer. All
Thank
right,
you.
champions, you're very welcome. All right, champions, have an amazing rest of your day and go crush this week.